Mr. Trump has just announced that he expects to be arrested by a federal investigation into the 6th of January 2021 riot at the Capitol and the efforts to challenge the 2020 election. He's just put out a social media post saying that he was informed by Special Counsel Jack Smith that he is a target of their inquiry and that he should report to a grand jury, which almost certainly means an arrest and indictment. We'll learn more, I presume, in the next few hours, possibly the next few days, but this will be a sensational event, and Donald Trump will be held responsible for the riot that took place. Undoubtedly, he may be able to defend himself. I have no idea, but certainly the stakes are high, and it will be the most sensational news story going on and on, probably for about a year. And that will therefore interfere with the presidential campaign and almost certainly scupper Trump's chances of running as a presidential candidate. But there is also the possibility that the publicity attached to any such trial will generate its own momentum and could well catapult him into the White House, at which point I suppose he could give himself a presidential pardon, a presidential pat on the back. He wouldn't be the first candidate to run for election from the wrong side of a witness box, and indeed he wouldn't be the first candidate to run for election from a jail, from a prison cell. But it is extraordinary. I was thinking earlier today, a riot is a serious issue, and to read the Riot Act is effectively to condemn a large number of people who just happen to be in that area and happen to be accused of riot, to condemn people to serious punishment, imprisonment, and probably the death sentence. And I think Thomas More's speech, the one which is in Shakespeare's own hand, about the strangers and about the people who were rioting in Trafalgar Square because they were opposing the arrival of migrants into the United Kingdom, who were taking their houses, who were taking their jobs. Haven't we heard this before? And he says, stop this riot. And the king is a clement man. The king is a man who will be gracious to those people who admit their failing, but he may commute your sentence from death to exile. And yet, where will you go? Where will you go? Because when you are on the shores of France and beseeching the French for help, and they say to you, well, why are you here? Why have you been thrown out of England? You will say, because we were rioting, because we were racist. And the French will say, well, we don't want you here. Or the French may treat you in the same way that you are treating them now. And so even if the king is clement, your behavior is so abhorrent. This is the whole problem with a riot. It gets out of control. This is why Plato was so opposed to democracy, ruled by the mob, ruled by a riot, ruled by the mindless group. Now today, we understand democracy in a different way. We understand democracy as the thoughtful election by the people. But for Plato, it was an election by people who had no education, who had no sense, and who were simply led by a demagogue, a person who roused up the rabble. And the question is Mr. Putin a demagogue? Oh, if Mr. Putin is Mr. Trump a demagogue? There you are. My mind is wandering. My mind is wandering. I'm so taken by the idea of Mr. Putin talking to dead people and seeing dead people. And, maybe he's just anticipating the future.